Look, I'm handling it. Come on.
I can help you.
Hold your fire. Jesus. I don't need to see it.
The five boroughs of New York are home to 8 million people, but the larger metropolitan region has 12 million residents, 10 million phone exchange lines, and more than 50 phone services are available. There are 3 million cell phone subscribers in New York. Approximately 4.5 million New Yorkers and 2 million tourists use phone booths each year, despite the widespread usage of cell phones. At the junction of 53rd and 8th, there is just one phone booth. There are 300 calls made here every day, and in the previous 6 months, there have been 41 burglaries. Verizon has set the deadline of 8 a.m. the next day for the demolition of this building and its conversion into kiosk. Behind his wife Kelly's back, Stuart Seaport, a conceited and deceitful publicist in New York City, has been having an affair with Pamela McFadden. Stuart will be the final person using the phone booth at 53rd and 8th. Stuart uses a mobile phone. Adam is Stuart's assistant. Stuart buys police officers off with exclusive knowledge on the personal life of celebrities. After that, he sells the tabloids the information in exchange for cover stories featuring his clients. In return for one bad reference of his establishment in the Post, he even receives free food at Marriott's restaurant for 6 months. Since Stuart was having trouble finding a location for Big Q's preferred date, he convinces Marriott to throw a party for his client Big Q. Stuart gets a bunch of celebs and a newspaper cover in exchange for Mario agreeing to a banquet for 80 people. Stuart makes touch with Pamela while in Times Square using public phone booth to be hidden from Kelly. Every day at the same time, Stuart makes the same call to Pam from the same phone booth. A pizza delivery man interrupts him in the middle of the call and tries to give him a free pizza. But Stuart firmly tells him no.
Fuck off.
Stuart finishes his call and then the phone rings.
Yeah.
When Stuart picks up the phone, a man who recognizes him and threatens him to inform Kelly about Pam cautions him not to leave the booth. The man claims that because he knew Stuart would be hungry and that the call would be lengthy, he had sent the pizza to him. The caller, identified as Kiefer Sutherland, informs Stuart that he has dates to other people who committed similar crimes and given them the opportunity to tell the people they harmed the truth. A German porn star who refused to acknowledge that he was a pedophile, and a corporate CXO who sold all of his stock before the bottom fell out and the little guys lost everything. But in both cases, the people refused to confess and perished. To spare himself the same fate, Stuart needs to tell Kelly and Pam about his feelings. The caller accurately and precisely discharged a suppressed sniper rifle to show the threat. The caller states that he is holding a modern hand-sold tactical scope, a 700 with a carbon 1 modification, and a bolt-action in 30 caliber. The exit wound at his range will barely be the size of a small orange. Stuart is forced to listen in when the caller calls Pam on a different line. He informs Pam that while his wife keeps an eye on her cell phone account, Stuart calls her from a payphone. Pam was unaware that Stuart was married. He informs Pam that Stuart did not intend to assist her in her acting career, and that he called her to the City Hotel since it offers inexpensive room for inexpensive girls. Stuart is then forced to phone Kelly by the caller, but he refuses to acknowledge that he wants to have sex with other women. Kelly keeps hearing from him to not trust anything if she receives a hoax call.
Yeah, there's a lot of prank calling going.
3 sex workers approach the booth and demand to use the phone, but Stuart won't go without explaining his situation. The prostitutes applaud when Leon, a pimp, smashes the booth's glass side, takes Stuart, and pummels him. In Stuart's confusion, he unintentionally requests that the caller make him stop, and as a result, the caller kills Leon. The cops and TV crews gather at the scene as the prostitutes accuse Stuart of possessing a pistol and place him at fault right away.
I give the orders here, Stu, don't I?
NYPD Captain Ed Ramey cordons off the area and tries to talk Stuart out of the booth, but he refuses. The caller is certain that Stuart won't be shot by the police because the entire situation is currently being recorded on camera, and they won't do anything that would implicate them in a lawsuit. When Remy approached Stuart, the caller instructs Stuart to insult Remy by claiming that he failed to please his wife, which is why she left
Yeah, go
him.
back a few steps. Go back to where you were.
Okay.
Remy cuts off communication with Stuart and instructs that the call to the phone booth be tracked down, but it will take some time. The caller points to a gun that has been hidden in the phone booth ceiling, to which Stuart responds that there is no way they can implicate him. The caller demands that Stuart tell Kelly the truth, and Stuart complies as Kelly and Pam arrive on the scene. The caller then threatens to shoot the woman Stuart does not select between Kelly and Pam.
I only keep him around because he looks up to me. Adam, if you're watching, I'm so afraid you won't like what's underneath. Kelly, that's Pam.
Kelly is able to overhear Stuart's talk with the caller since he uses his cell phone covertly to make a call to her. She discreetly tells Remy of this. In the meantime, Stuart keeps telling everyone that his entire life has been a fiction in order to provide a more favorable picture of himself.
I love you so fucking much. Kelly, looking at you now, I'm ashamed of myself.
Stuart's admissions diverts attention enough for the authorities to follow the payphone call to a neighboring structure. The caller threatens to kill Kelly if he is discovered, to which Stuart responds that the police are on their way. Stuart, desperate, takes out the pistol and flees the booth, pleading with the sniper to murder him instead. While a SWAT team breaks into the room where the caller was monitored and discovers a rifle and a man's death, the cops open fire on Stuart. When Stuart comes to, the cops have merely used rubber bullets, which have stunned but not injured him. Kelly and Stuart make a happy reunion.
Me too.
Stuart recognized the dead as the previous pizza delivery man when the officers bring it down. Stuart receives care in a nearby ambulance. A paramedic gives him an injection and he begins to lose consciousness. The genuine caller walks by, telling Stuart that if his newfound integrity is short-lived, he will be back, then vanishes into the throng as the payphone rings once more.
Isn't it funny?
Thanks for watching.